Hello everyone, I'm Miles Thompson, men's coach from the University of Alabama.
And I'm coach at Alabama for the women's team, Matt Bushy. And what we have here today is transitioning from juniors to collegiate basketball.
Today we want to talk about 10 fundamentals that'll help the transition from the junior game into the collegiate basketball game. We want to talk 5 core skills that would make the transition a lot easier for all our collegiate coaches, and then 5 life skills that we feel will also help in the transition from junior basketball to collegiate basketball. The first thing you'll see right now is the John Wooden Pyramid of Success. Matt and I both are components of the Wooden Pyramid of Success. The things we're going to talk about today are industriousness and enthusiasm. So you know, we've worked a year on the men's team on industriousness and enthusiasm. It's not something that we just grasp and move to the next component. It's something that takes quite a bit of time on each building block. The on-court fundamentals that we really feel will help transition from the junior game to the collegiate game is first one we'll call is knock down, get up. If you're, a lot of times you'll see when the game's played at a quick pace, when you fall down, you got to be able to get back up in the collegiate game. We even run a drill where we'll have the defense, all 5 people fall down as the offense comes and attacks. There's different techniques, different strapping, that's really going to be personalized to each player, each level of disability. An example, a lot of our Class 1s and our Class 2s will cut up like an inner tube, wrap it around the front end of their chair, use that as a sort of an adhesive, a sticky device to help grab on the floor, and then they can work their way up. You have people that will sit lower in their chair and can push up from behind and push up, and then you have your amputees and your higher levels, you know, that are able to actually use their foot and help to get them up.
Easiest way to try to find these different techniques to work best for you is just by repetition and experimenting. Try to find the best one that's going to work for the athlete.
Yeah, it's really amazing when we get freshmen in and we ask them to go ahead and just fall down. They'll look at me with wild eyes like, what are you asking me to do? We ask them to go ahead and fall down, and then their sense of achievement in getting up it's a nice moment. The second thing we'll talk about on our on-court fundamentals is bounce stops, bounce spins. We've noticed at the 2010 Junior Nationals that the players work with a lot of speed, but not all our players are working effectively because there's really not a great use of bounce stops. A bounce stop is when you're working at a high rate of speed to go ahead, bounce the ball, put your hands on your wheels, and while the ball's in your air, you stop your chair, collect the ball, and then you're able to make a decision at not a high rate of speed, but at a very low rate of speed, or with your chair still. This is key to making better decisions. This is key to getting off a shot, so you're not shooting a wild layup, trying to hit some ESPN highlight reverse, and just being fundamental and to be able to execute a pass or a shot.
The effective things with these techniques is that they're used for all classifications, big or small, with speed or not. Anybody's going to be able to use these effectively in the game in order to make a contribution.
Yeah, of course this will obviously help in your decision making and your vision on the court. Your peripheral vision will be enhanced with your bounce stop, and your decision making with passes and shots will definitely be increased at a higher level. All right, our third thing we'd like to talk about on our on-court fundamentals is using your dominant, non-dominant hand. A lot of times, obviously, you know, we want to use our strong side predominantly, especially as we're introductory players and young players. The more time you spend on the court, the more you're gonna want to use your non-dominant hand, obviously, to create space for passes, to eliminate turnovers, to being able to prevent shots from getting blocked, and just to be able to use both sides is to play the complete game.
The great thing about this is that it's something you can work on as the individual anywhere. All you need is a basketball and get to a space. You can see a lot of the different drills that one of the athletes here is practicing around the head, around the back, and just anything they can experiment with for dribbling. Right. All right, so the next two that we want to talk about, number 4 is voice, speaking versus dialogue. The big difference between these is we're going as for the individual and as for the group. Speaking, we're talking about as an individual. Great for junior players that we're looking to see them as they're working on different drills and trying to work in things of the game. We want them to speak about that, communicate, and say out what they are doing. They're seeing what they're doing and they're talking about it. Not only is this helping with their communication overall, but this allowing them to process the information while they're doing it. And then for team dialogue, it's communicating with the teammates that they have. Communication about what they're seeing and what is going on around them. We're looking to try to have on-court fundamentals of both speaking as an individual and with the group.
A common theme initially with freshmen is the freshmen will talk about what they see right in front of them, which is fine. But as they progress as players and through the years, they'll, instead of just talking about what they see, they'll have dialogue with teammates to the left and right, especially on a defensive end. And you'll notice as players are in the collegiate system longer, instead of talking about what's in front of them, there'll be a lot more dialogue with the people around them. Initially, you have a lot of young players that simply do not talk. At the University of Alabama, if someone doesn't know what to say, I'll have them say, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say. Say that out loud, just get practice at talking. And then people around them, their teammates, will then sort of talk them through what to talk about. It's a common practice that we do, and it's an effective one.
The 5th fundamental that we'd like to talk about is shadows. Mostly a defensive thing. We're really trying to talk about one-on-one defenses being the core of all of our defense. You can see the point there, seeing, doing, and talking. We really want them to be seeing what they're doing, being able to evaluate the offensive player, doing the action, getting the wheel position and stopping the chair, and communicating about it, both speaking and dialogue like we talked about before. Like we said, this is the core fundamental part of our defense, starting with a one-on-one, and the more that you advance in with athletes, the more important the voice talking works in dialogue. We also have up there getting flat. One of the things that we say is that it's vital for us when you have 2-on-2 or more, that important of getting flat, staying at the same level playing on the court in order to remove picking angles. Another great thing that we don't really see as much as freshmen coming in and something they develop on.
A common thing we'll do too early on with our younger players, our freshman players, is we'll limit the space. We'll use like a sideline and a lane line, or we'll even set up cones to limit the space so you're able to work on your shadow techniques. And then at the more advanced stage, the space will become larger. You'll work with more people, so the communication needs to be greater. And so a lot of times working within space or limited space is a valuable tool in working with your shadows. I also want to talk, if you look at our last quote, again, we're both huge John Wooden disciples, I suppose you say, and his quote is, I believe in the basics, attention to, and the perfection of tiny details that might commonly be overlooked. We believe in working on the smallest details, and it comes down to working on one thing 100 times instead of working on 100 things one time.